Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the importance of career planning. The current misguided notion is that, especially with graduates or maybe people who don't know this, people are starting their careers, is that you'll just naturally progress. Just like, oh, when you finish your university degree, there'll just be a job waiting for you. Like, it's going to be very easy. And then you realize you have to, put in the effort. You need to do internships, you need to gain experience, you need to do all these tests. Yeah, it doesn't all end once you get that graduate job. After some years of experience of being in your graduate job, maybe 2-3 years, you need to start thinking, okay, where do I see myself going? And yeah, honestly, it's very possible for you to be stuck where you are or to not progress as much as you want to if you don't plan your career. So career planning is very, very important. So why else is career planning important? Well, it's very important for people who want to progress very quickly. So people are very ambitious. So if you feel like, oh, by the age of 32, I want to be CFO, I want to be finance director, I want to be earning X amount. And yeah, so those things don't just happen. You can't just wait by and let it happen. You need to take charge of your career. Okay, so maybe you're not the most ambitious, but maybe you do have a salary in mind. And if that's the case, what do you stand to lose if you don't plan your career, if you don't take career planning seriously? So number one, you stand to lose high amounts of salary, high salary raises, bonuses. You stand to lose that if you don't plan your career very well. If you don't plan your career very well, you also lose time. So what I mean by this is that once you figure out what you want to do with career planning, that could be you need to gain, it could be that, okay, to get to this stage in your career, you need to do qualifications or you need to learn a new skill that you didn't know previously. Now, if you wait a long time to then find this out, you've lost all these years that you could have been learning that new skill you found out about or gaining that new qualification. So you stand to lose high salaries, you stand to lose time where you can utilize to gain new skills. And this is very, very important, especially for people, because right now, well, most of my audience are between the ages of, I believe, 18 and 28 or so. So and right now we're quite young, and this is the time to gain those qualifications you need, learn those skills before life becomes more complex and you maybe start a family or you have more responsibilities or just your circumstance changes, because you never know what the future may hold. So those are the two main things you lose: salary and time. So now you're thinking, oh, Madiva, you're right. So what do I do? How do I career plan? Where do I start? Don't worry, I've got you. So research the role you're in now. I think that's the best way to start. So the role you're currently in, where does it lead you? What's the career prospects? What kind of other jobs can you apply to? What grade can you does the seniority level go up to? So those are the things you want to look at. You want to look at also salary progressions. How high can your salary go? How many years of experience do you need in this current role you're in to be able to gain a certain salary that is a direct progression of the role you're in? So that's the kind of thing you want to research first. So by doing this, you then realize, okay, I have a number one. Yes, my role, great career progression. So I need to do A, B, C. Or then you might realize, actually, this career progression in the role I'm currently in is not really for me. I don't see myself here. Or maybe you would have thought that the current role you're in, you may have thought that you'd be able to become XYZ. So what I mean by this is, for example, maybe you're working as an economist, I don't know, and then you thought by being an economist or whatever. So why should you care about career planning? What do you stand to lose if you don't plan your career carefully? Well, the number one thing you stand to lose is high salary increases, number one. Number two is time. So what I mean by time is, for example, if you do find out through your career planning journey, you do find out there are certain qualifications or there are certain skills you need to learn or courses you need to do to be able to get to the desired salary that you want or desired role that you want. It could be that you're at a position in your life where your circumstances do not give you enough time to be able to complete these qualifications or learn this new skill. So you do lose time. So you do need to plan your career ahead to know, okay, this is what I need to do and this is how much time I have to do it. I've literally spoken to people, like people at really high levels, whereby, you know, they really wanted to do like the CFA qualification, but then they realized like there's just no time because, you know, they have a whole family, you know, they're at quite a seniority level in their role that they're gonna have, like, it will be very, very difficult to balance the high seniority. It'll be very difficult for them to balance their role and the responsibilities of their role and learning this new skill or gaining this new qualification. So you stand to lose high salary increases and time. So now you've heard all the reasons why it's very, very important for you to plan your career and what could happen or the consequences of not doing so. And now you're saying, Madiba, okay, well, tell me, how do I plan my career? Where do I start from? Don't worry, I've got you. So now the first thing you want to do is do some research on the role you're in right now. So the current role you're in, what kind of jobs can you progress onto with the current role you're in and the skills you're gaining in this current role? Can you go up to manager level? Can you go up to director level? What is the high salary you can achieve with this role that you're currently in? So those are the things you want to find out first of all. Also, the role you're in right now, is it really good? Like, are you gaining skills whereby you can switch to a different role as well? Is it very flexible, or is there a lot of jobs in the role that you're currently in? Will there be a lot of jobs available? So if, I don't know, if your company was to lay you off, or you were to, you know, quit your role, will there be like jobs available in the current role that you for the current role that you're in? So that's another important thing. So if I was you, if that wasn't the case, I'll start looking at roles that are quite similar to the role you're in, whereby maybe you may need to gain certain skills or add a qualifications. I will start expanding my horizons, because you want to get as many skills as possible, whereby it's not only one type of role you can apply for, but you've gained skills, the necessary skills and knowledge, whereby you can apply for you know, two types of roles. So for example, usually accountants can apply for not only accounting roles, they can apply for financial analyst roles, they can apply for commercial analyst roles, because they have the skill set to do all those type of roles. So just understand the skill set you have and what type of roles can you apply for. It could be that through this research you find out, actually, the role I'm in is not the only type of role I can apply for. I can apply for X, Y, and Z because of the skills that I have. So I don't really focus too much on job titles. I look at the job description, because job titles could be very, very different. And there's some job titles you will not even think to research. But then when you look at these roles, you have the skills necessary for them. So this is why research is very, very important. So another step will be to speak to colleagues in your workplace. Look at the people. There might be someone you admire in your workplace, whereby I'm thinking, I want to be like that person in the next couple of years. Well, if you want to be like that person in the next couple of years or few years, then find out what did they do to get to where they are? What qualifications did they have? What experience did they gain? It's important to note that even though, for example, you may work as a financial analyst or as an economist, but does not mean that you can apply for every single economist role. Similarly, if you're a financial analyst or treasury analyst, doesn't mean you can apply for every single treasury analyst role. Now, to give yourself the greatest chance of applying for every type of role in your field, you need to gain as many skills as possible. There are certain roles whereby, for example, there's certain treasury roles that are more focused on accounting side. There's some treasury roles where it's not as much accounting, it's more so funding related, it's more so capital markets related. So this is why it's good to speak to people. So speak to senior members in your team or in your company. I think that's the best place to start. And then you can also speak to senior members on LinkedIn. So people are like directors, because I've messaged people on LinkedIn who are like directors of you know, companies or head of capital markets, looked at their profile. So sometimes you may not need to speak to them, you can just look at their profile, and then that gives you a really good insight into, you know, the skills and qualifications that was necessary to get to the role they are in now. you can take it further by sending them messages to understand how did they get to the road they were in, and just gain more information about the qualifications that they have. Another thing is, some people in the role they're in, like for some like high level roles, it could be, it's not only that you need to gain a certain qualification, certain skills or knowledge, but they also want you to have worked in particular industries. I've seen that. So there are certain roles I've seen, yeah, and it's very hard for you to gain certain skills if you don't work, if you don't switch industry. So basically, a treasury analyst in a financial services company versus a treasury analyst in like a utilities company or retail company, they might actually learn very different skills. Or a treasury analyst in an international company, so like working for a company that have branches all over the world, you're going to gain different skills. So it is really good to do research, and these are the things you need to do to gain that extra advantage that will lead you to having the upper hand when it comes to salary negotiation. Another tip to with career planning is to look online, look at jobs, literally research jobs. And I do this by going on LinkedIn, looking at different jobs, going on Total Jobs as well. And those are the two main things I look at, but also you can look at other websites, of course, like Google Jobs and Indeed and so on and so forth. They're really good into like actually seeing, okay, these are the live jobs right now. When you type in financial analyst, how many jobs come up? How many jobs come up? What are the skills that are required? What do you need? What are the salary that they're paying? I think that's a really great way to understand whether there's a lot of jobs in the market for the role that you're currently in. I think that's the best way. Or if you want to search up a desired role that you want to be in the future, again, by searching up these job titles online, on LinkedIn, on Total Jobs, this is the best way to find out more information about them and what's the person specification that what's required for you to actually get this job. So the 70k job, what do they want from you? So I think that's the best way to go about it. Another thing you can do is speak to recruiters. Recruiters are really great as well because they have experience recruiting these people into a specific industry. So for example, I've spoken to recruiters within the treasury and finance and treasury field. These recruiters are in direct contact with the employers that are going to employ you. So they will have a greater understanding of like what do employers look for, how important is this qualification, is it possible to, how many roles do you think, how many employers on your book do you think would be attracted to me with the kind of level of education that I have or the level of experience that I have? What skills are they wanting to look for? Because usually recruiters they're more intimate with employers. They could get like they get one-to-one rather than because us, yeah, we just see the job description, whereas the employers actually spoken to the recruiter and said, this is what we find really important, this is prioritize these people, this is what we want. So you get that more intimate like knowledge on actually what do employers want, what are they looking for. So recruiters are really great. Again, you can find recruiters on LinkedIn. There are a lot of recruitment companies out there. So yeah, that's where I would start. Lastly, just keep a log of everything you've been doing, because when you start like speaking to people, they're going to ask you questions. Or so what do you do in your role, and what skills have you gained, and do you know how to use this and that? So it's really good to help you with your career planning. It's good to have, okay, what skills do I have it in one page, what skills do I have, what have I worked on? And that is a really good way to really keep a track of, okay, now when you're doing your career planning and you're doing all this research, you can say, okay, I can tick off, okay, I've done this and this is what I need to learn. And then once you find out what you need to learn, then you can try to gain that experience see if you can gain that experience in your current role. So it could be that in your current role, your current employer can actually pay for a certain qualification that you need after doing this research. Or it could be that you need to be cross-trained. Another thing I'm doing, especially in my role, is being cross-trained on different things, which I believe is very important, because even though I work as a treasury analyst, I don't know every single thing that a treasury and like doesn't mean I can apply for every single treasury analyst job, because I've looked at treasury analyst jobs and there are certain skills that I don't have or I have like certain knowledge I don't have. And then it's only by, you know, being at a certain company or speaking to your employer saying that actually I want to get involved in this, would you then be able to gain that skill or experience. So you do need to be you need to take on an active role. So the whole point of career planning is taking on an active role in your career and making sure you gain the right skills, because guys, it's not that easy to then say, oh, in 5 years time you may have 5 years of experience and think, yes, I have 5 years of experience, I can do this, or I can ask for the salary. No, but you need to have 5 years of quality experience. That is the difference, because even in certain job descriptions they say, for example, oh, we really want someone who has experience in international, like working for international companies, or we really want someone who has a this qualification, or we really want someone who has experience in hedging, or we want someone who's worked at a rating agency. These are the like things that you I've seen personally in job description. And it could be that, okay, you have 5 years experience, but you don't meet any of those criteria, so then you can't apply for that job, and so then you can't get that salary. So career planning is very, very important, and you need to keep that in your mind. So don't go on, you know, auto mode and just think, oh yes, I'll just let my career just take me away. I think it's very important to take an active role in your career. So that is the end of the video, guys. I really hope you found this useful, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.